So now I understand, because back in the day when I looked at people who lived in this area, I was just like, why is this place inhabited? Well, it's the same reason why Alaska is inhabited. Yeah, there's grizzly bears, and yeah, it's really, really cold. But sometimes it's just the place that you love, and you learn to acclimate and learn the skills that you need to be happy and survive there. And we're pretty happy. Okay, so we have our first little bit of tornado weather warning system here in Tulsa, which I'm actually not worried about it. Maybe I should be, but the clouds are moving very, very quickly, and we're still going to go out and take Daddy to work, and then we're going to go and take care of ponies. And we're starting to get kind of, not necessarily the lackadaisical thinking of natives here. Generally, they're just like, well, they'll let us know if it gets close. But when a big storm cell comes over, they seem to actually get a little bit worried in isolated clumps, is kind of what we have found. Is that you watch the main storm, well, because some people have been getting hit not with the tornado, but with things like hail. So they're not necessary, but like on Facebook lately, I've seen a lot of my friends here in the area that they get worried as the storm cell gets closer, because it's unpredictable what can happen, and they start to get very, please pray for us, and that kind of thing. But we've never been through a tornado before, and so some people in certain areas around here get absolutely not worried at all, and they just like, oh, it just doesn't matter.
Mostly
and
the born and raised ones.
No, I don't think Nikki is from here, but she's like, yeah, the storm sirens go off at night and I just stay asleep, I just don't care. And yet some of the people in the outskirts of Tulsa, I think they get hit more than Tulsa does. And so they're more concerned about it when a storm cell or a storm shelf, or whatever you want to call it, the system, when the storm system starts to move over their area, they get nervous. They have sirens that go off once a week just to test the sirens, and they do not have those sirens go off if it is a cloudy day, because they don't want people to get confused about whether or not there is actually a tornado.
Yeah, and today was actually one of the days that they were supposed to let it go off.
Yeah, today's the day that they're supposed to test it, but if you have a storm coming in, they don't test it. They only have it go off on cloudy days if there's actually a tornado. There have been some buildings here that have been tweaked, and a couple restaurants. And when was that one that came through? A couple years ago?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. It took a skyscraper, now it's uninhabited.
Yeah, it twisted the skyscraper, and it took out a couple of restaurants across the street. But did it take out a hotel too?
Yeah, it took out the La Quinta right next door.
But it was damaged. It wasn't leveled. It like broke windows and tore some things up, but it didn't level it. So it seems to be locational here for the most part. You will still get isolated instances. It's still, if you're a prepper, it's not a bad idea if you're in this area to have a storm shelter. And like blizzards back home, we'll get, about every 10 years, we'll get a really, really heavy snowfall, where if you're up in the mountains, your cabin will actually get buried in snow, which is why you have to have really steep pitched roofs if you live in the mountains. Just like here, you want to make sure you have good drainage, because generally what the weather does is it rains a lot. But if you are a prepper, if you're somebody who likes to be prepared for every contingency, then a storm shelter is a really great idea, and it can double as a root cellar if you put up some shelves. And so in Idaho, if you're in the mountains, your prep is a wood burning stove and a steeply pitched roof. Here, it's a storm shelter, and make sure to put your house on the tallest point of your property so you have some drainage. There's also bugs, but my understanding is that here, as far as gardening goes, yes, you have more predatory insects that are going to go after your garden, but the plants grow so well here for the most part that there's enough for you and the bugs, with the exception of squash. Apparently, squash, zucchini, anything like that, you get the vine borers here that will take out your plants. And so, to my understanding, that's really the only thing here that will be decimated that you can't really do anything about. So, kind of exciting. Everything here, let's see if I can switch it really quick. Everything here is just really, really gorgeous and green right now. It seemed to happen over one weekend. We had a little tiny bit of green that was showing through, and then the next day we had boom, we're fully in spring. We have really beautiful weather, and we haven't had as much rain now that we've been in spring a little bit. And I have yet to meet anybody who does a really big, well, actually I take that back, Bobby's mom. Our friend Bobby that you've seen on our road trips, I love her so much. She's so much fun to hang out with. Her mom has an absolutely gorgeous garden, and they amended their soil with tons and tons of mushroom compost. And you can see the clouds and you can't really see the movement, but you can see maybe that the trees are blowing a little bit. And the clouds are moving really fast, but we're not really feeling it on the ground that much. So you can see we've got a little bit of wind, and the trees and the clouds are definitely moving. And so I wanted to show you where you would go in your house if you didn't have a storm shelter. All right, so the one place that you don't want to be is anywhere that there's windows. It is, most of the damage in a tornado is from debris that's flying through things. You know, yes, it can pick things up, but as far as a normal storm, it's high winds, and it's throwing sheet metal around, it's throwing 2x4s around, it can throw cars around. I mean, that's very legitimate. So you don't want to be anywhere that there's windows. And the one room in our house that does not have windows, except for the attic, is the bathroom. So you would want to come into the bathroom, you would want to close the door, and you know, somebody's got something going on. In our area, probably what will get us, what usually gets us in a storm, is hail. And so if you have, like, we have all of our vegetables and our herbs and everything already set out. So if we want to save those from the wind, then we would need to bring those in the house, or put something over them that would protect them from the hail, like maybe a child's swimming pool. But if you have high winds, the swimming pool will come off. So it's just kind of your decision about what you want to worry about and what you don't want to worry about. So do I wish we had a storm shelter? Definitely, just because, you know, it's good to be careful. But we have learned that every time a cloud goes over, it doesn't mean imminent death. We're going to see if we can go get a video of the tower that was twisted, that was kinked, and that kind of thing. Okay, so out here, people may be wondering, what do you do about your farm animals? What do you do about your livestock? And if you do get a storm, there's nothing you can do for them, absolutely nothing, because most people just don't have a space big enough to put them underground with you in a storm, in a storm situation. And so, obviously, if you have the capacity to get animals into as safe a space as you can, you do. But that's not always possible. So you just do your best. Little Bun is getting long enough that I could just about clip him here, probably in another 4 weeks. And the dog groomer here did such a nice job on his feet. I'm sorely tempted to just have her trim him all the way and make sure it's all in one cut. It does cost, I believe it costs $40. I don't think is it $40? I think it's $40 to have that done. And it means that he's more comfortable, and it means that his feet get done all at once. It's a lot faster. So I get fiber out of it, but I don't know if it's worth it though. I ended up only paying $20 because I just had her do his bum and his belly and his legs. I did the rest of the clipping myself for the usable fiber. So that might be the best bet, but we haven't been able to handle him as much since we've been out here and we're not at the house, because it's not as safe to handle him out in the open. There's dogs, there's critters, so kind of not sure what to do about that. I wanted to show you guys how this corset holster is working. It definitely works better if I have a more push-up padded bra. It definitely hides better that way because I have obviously more of a cover over the top of it. Today I just have more of a tank top type of a shirt on underneath. And so I do think that it definitely prints more, but half of that is my Leatherman. My Leatherman is showing a little bit. And I have had to go to a men's underwear t-shirt rather than my more shaped Dirtpatcheaven shirts. And I did try a pancake holster yesterday just to compare the two because I felt like, well, maybe things have changed. Maybe it's not that bad. But halfway through the day, I ended up going back to this one. It's just so comfortable, but it does print unless I kind of have the girls kind of pushed up a little bit. But I don't think it prints that bad. Well, everybody told us about the humidity. Oh yeah, we have turtles out on that rock. Lots and lots of little turtles. The humidity today, I'm really, really grateful for that little bit of a breeze because, oh my gosh, the humidity.
It's terrible.
It might be that I've got this corset holster on and black and pants and heavy boots. Are you feeling a little cooler, Kyle? Let's go up to the dogs. Yeah, probably. Yeah, so farming and ranching and that kind of thing, you have a tendency to wear everything full and long to protect you from the bugs and the thistles and stuff like that. So you just kind of have to acclimate to it. I do need to go dig out my hat. I think that would probably help quite a bit. Let's move this barbed wire. Looks like it's about to break anyway. You want me to get a picture of the turtles? Okay, let me get a picture of the turtles. Those are all turtles, aren't they pretty? So we're trying to acclimate the girls to everything. Flags, dogs, they get a lot of air. Go ahead, honey. Go ahead. Airplanes, cars, turtles, Canadian geese. And they like to sing and make noise too. So it all kind of makes for a more rounded animal that, you know, it's okay to be scared, but can you look at it and decide if it really is something you should be afraid of? That's my opinion anyway. I have fear if I hear a sudden noise. And the more I'm used to it, the less I overreact to it. So we're doing the same thing with the ponies. These sure look like grapes to me. I swear that those are grapes. if they're grapes. I didn't see any grapes on them last year.
So when you are doing watering the rabbits, if you got one of these bottles, you always need to fill to the top every single day, and you hold it at the corner so it isn't squeezing it out, and you need to feed and water them every single day, unless they're already at the top of water and food. If they're not at the top of water, you need to do it. If they're not at the top of the food, you need to do it. Yeah, to the top.
You look so pretty, buddy. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the inside. And the reason you have them raised is because if you have them sunk too much, if there is rain during a storm, you would have rain in the bottom, which wouldn't be too fun. But you bury these. Alright, so this is what the outside looks like, and that's half the price of the specialty storm cellar place we went to. It was $5,000 installed. And you'll see these little mounds, these little hills out next to people's property, next to their front door or back door. And generally they will have the little air freshener thing on the top. So that's what they look like. And the reason you want them in the ground is because it's all that debris flying around, and also by having them in the ground, you just don't have anything for the tornado to fight against, so it'll keep you safe. When you're looking at gardening stuff, go for your local gardener, not your Home Depot or your Lowe's. They know what will thrive in your area and what will not. They'll have the right strains from years of experience, and going for cheapest means that you're paying for it not only in money, because it is still money even if it's cheap.
I need an 89 or 99 for the fastest, please. 89.99 fastest, please.
But in time, the time that it takes to nurse it back to health, and if it is sick and it has something contagious, it's bringing it onto your property. So if it's going to be on your property for a really long time and it's going to affect your homestead for years, do it the right way the first time, and don't have it be false economy. The thing you'll notice is that in this area, when you have weather, nobody stops what they're doing. We have joggers on the path, we've had airplanes, everybody's out working, and the reason is generally some considerable time before a storm will be coming in. There's warnings. Make sure to have your phone turned up.